Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast. This is episode 45. You're not really angry at them and what it really means to be angry. So I'm glad you are here. We're just going to dive into today's topic because it is definitely a juicy one and it is something that we all need to hear and digest. So I want you to think about the last time that you were angry about something or at someone. I mean, maybe it was this morning, a few weeks ago, or you might just be sitting in the middle of the pool of anger as you listen to this or watch whatever it is, however you're listening or watching to this podcast. So, we're going to back up a little bit though. Let's talk about anger. Anger, it is not a bad thing. God gave us emotions, and so therefore they're not bad. But what we do with those emotions, what we say and our actions is where anger can become unhealthy. And that pretty much sums up any emotion we have, right? I mean, I could say that and I could apply that to anything. In fact, you might have heard me say that before on this podcast. There is a proper time for every emotion. And when left unchecked, emotions, they can destroy our peace of mind. So I always tell my clients that they want to shy away. Sometimes they tend to want to shy away from feeling angry because it's not a comfortable feeling when you feel angry. It raises the blood pressure. We can get red faced. We can get hot. We can start to sweat, all the things. So a lot of people want to shy away from it. And when I have clients that in particular want to shy away from anger, whether how they feel or maybe it just brings back bad memories of anger for themselves or they've experienced from other people. But what I try to tell them, it is okay to be angry, that you need to feel it. And you also need to ask yourself, what are the thoughts or the thought, maybe it's just one particular thought behind that emotion. It isn't because you're angry to be angry. I mean, there is something that happened or a series of events that occurred that led you to this particular emotion. It's not just I'm just going to be angry to be angry because like I said, it's not a comfortable emotion. And it is definitely something, it's one of those emotions that you don't want to sweep under the rug. But what about those times that you stay angry? Maybe you're not sweeping it under the rug, but you're reveling in it. You want to stay angry. Or would you describe yourself? I want you to be honest here. Would you describe yourself as someone who is angry the majority of the time? Then you need to tune in and you need to turn this up. You need to listen. And I might step on a few toes here, but if it is convicting in any way, if it tells your heart, if it is hard to hear sometimes, then this means that this is something that you probably need to work on. So when we get angry about something or at someone, and it's not because that person or that outcome angered you. It's really about the fact that you are putting your emotions on other people to make you happy. Yes, you're putting your expectations on other people to make you happy. You are laying down your peace of mind, you're laying down your happiness, and in fact, you're actually placing it in the hands of other people. Now, hear me out. It doesn't mean that you should always be okay with whatever anyone does, whatever they say. I'm not saying that at all. I have to clarify here because I don't want someone to take this the wrong way. Oh, you're saying we should never get angry. That's not what I'm saying. But rather, friends, it means that if you keep latching on to anger, if anger is your go to emotion, so to speak, then you are expecting the world, the people that surround you, whether they be the people at home or at work, people on the road as you drive around running errands. We all know that can definitely bring out some emotions we're not proud of. I mean, I'm going to raise my hand on that one. You expect them to be and act a certain way at all times. They should just know. They should. He should. She should. And if you know anything about that word should, if you've worked with me as a coach or you've heard on this podcast, that should word, is what that means is that's a level of perfection. You're raising that bar up to perfection when you say he should, she should, I should, however we apply it. It means perfection. And that does not exist on this world. I'm going to say it again. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. We've only had one person walk this earth that was perfect. It is not you or I. I'm stepping on your toes. My apologies. But what I also want you to know is that you're putting perfection on them. They just should know that whatever, fill in the blank. Okay. So if you're latching though onto anger, I mean, friends, if you're latching onto anger all the time, if anger is your go to emotion, then your contentment hinges on their decisions. Your ability to find peace, your ability to be happy, to be content, it all hinges on what they decide. You're basically saying, whatever you do will determine how I feel. Now, let's go to the Bible because this is a Christian podcast. I am a Christian life coach. I am a Christian woman. So I'm referencing this. I always go back to the main source of truth that we have on this earth, and that is the Bible. And let's go to it. Let's look at Jesus. Let's talk about this perfect person, right? He got angry. It doesn't ever say he didn't get angry. In fact, it talks about several times in the New Testament where Jesus became angry. He was upset because nobody helped someone with a disability. He became upset when the temple was turned into, quote unquote, a den of robbers. He got upset with the disciples when they were trying to keep children from coming to him. So there are times when Jesus grew angry. However, what he didn't do was turn around and start smacking people on the face, cussing them out. He didn't allow it to sit in his system for days upon days upon days. There is a time for it, there is a place. And in fact, those instances are in the Bible to show us there is a time for such things. It is not wrong to be angry, but where that line is drawn is what you do with that anger, what you are allowing to pull anger out of you. That's what makes the difference. Somebody physically hurting you on purpose or saying awful things to you will bring about anger. But now let's go to the other side of that, unleashing revenge on them in some form or fashion. I'm not talking about taking up for yourself and telling them, hey, not going to talk to me that way, or somebody trying to hurt you and trying to physically keep them from hurting you. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying, let's say it's all said and done, going back, sitting in that anger, unleashing revenge on them in some form or fashion is a way. This is just an example of how anger can get out of hand, trying to ruin their reputation, whatever it might be, that you're allowing anger to turn you into somebody that you are not. Maybe look at what is making you grow anger. Is it grow angry? Is it your spouse forgetting something at the store that you needed? Somebody driving slow in the passing lane? These are not things that should call anger out of you. These are not things that should make you angry. And it does not qualify for you to be angry at them for that. Oh, your spouse forgot the one thing you sent them to the store for and they came home with everything else. Or they forgot to go to the store on the way home, whatever it might be. So let's go back. There's a Bible verse in James 1:19 states, "Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger." Not quick to anger, not slow to hear. Hear what's going on. Take it in. It doesn't say avoid anger. Don't ever get angry. It says slow to anger, which means you need to slow your roll on where you're going with this feeling of anger. Why is anger your go-to? That is something that you should be slow to get to. That should not be the first. And I said should, I get it. But this does not need to be the first thing you run to on your day in your daily life if you're walking through your daily life feeling angry. So you need to check yourself here. Is anger your go-to emotion? Or is it just right behind the first emotion? Is it quick to happen? Maybe it's not your first go-to. Maybe it is. Do you feel like at the end of the day, that you've been angry for the majority of the time that you're awake. And it's not just one day. I mean, we've had those days where, gosh, it was a very frustrating, very irritating, and then anger kind of, reared its ugly head in there kind of day. But if it's day after day after day after day, and you notice you're getting quick to get angry, each time you're getting quicker and quicker because it becomes your go to emotion. Sometimes you find a path that goes straight to anger. You need to ask yourself if that's where you're going. If you're spending the majority of your awake time on this earth angry, you have got to stop placing your peace of mind, your stability of all your emotions, and what someone else does. Friends, people, they're going to disappoint us. They're going to disappoint you. They're going to let you down. They can definitely frustrate you. But if you let anger rise with every disappointment and every frustration in your life is going to be one that is full of misery. Your mental stability is not going to be very good. Your peace of mind is going to be lacking. You're going to be the one walking around in anger and heartache while they probably have no clue about it and they're just fine. Probably. Just depends on the situation. So, how do you keep anger from being your go to emotion? Okay, listen up. When you get angry and you start to feel this way, you feel it rising up within yourself. Ask yourself why. Okay, why am I feeling angry? Why am I feeling angry about this? This person cut me off at the light. Why am I just going to get so angry? My kid, you know, did something that really doesn't call for anger. Why is anger my go-to? Is it because they did something that let you down or hurt your feelings? And I mean, you're like, well, yeah, they hurt my feelings, so I'm getting angry. And if so, then you need to ask yourself if you're placing your happiness in their hands. Maybe they're falling down on the job. Maybe it's somebody you work with and they're just not pulling their weight. They have responsibilities for that job and they're just not fulfilling those responsibilities. But are you allowing their lack of responsibility to mean that now it's personal? It's personal now. Maybe you had to help, pick up the slack because of whatever they did. And that is frustrating. But does that mean it should rob you of your peace of mind? Does that mean that it's okay to get angry about the fact that they aren't fulfilling their responsibilities? So you have to ask yourself where it's coming from. Where is this coming from? And what does it mean? Right? I mean, are you making this mean a personal offense against you? If your kid doesn't play good at their sporting event, they just kind of go out there and it's just kind of meh. It's the best way I can describe it. Are you getting angry about that? At the end of the sporting event, at the end of the soccer game, football game, basketball game, whatever event it might be that they're participating in, and they're just not in 100%. If you're getting angry about that, you have to ask yourself why. Why is anger becoming a part of this? Maybe frustration, maybe like confusion, like why are they going out there not really playing? But why anger? You know, I mean, it's always good to ask yourself if your parents forgot to call you on your birthday, if your boss is grumpy, or maybe your boss just isn't that pleasant to be around majority of the time. Maybe they're just one of those people you have to walk on eggshells, which is another podcast episode, walking on eggshells around people. You know, is anger your go to for that person? I mean, your parent, your friend, or your spouse that forgot your birthday. That does not need to determine if you lay down your peace of mind. It doesn't mean you need to get angry because they forgot your birthday, because they you had a dinner date with a friend and they forgot about it. Maybe your boss that's hard to be around, you know, do they get to decide if you're angry or not because they're hard to be around, because maybe they're just not very pleasant, maybe they're grumpy, whatever it might be. Are you allowing them to decide if you're going to have peace of mind? If you're content, if you're gonna be angry or not? And if you're saying, "Well, no, because I'm the one," well, yeah, you are the one that decides. You get to decide that. You get to see that their decisions and their behavior does not determine your behavior. You're the one that ultimately decides it. Is it frustrating to work with somebody you're having to pick the slack up around? Yeah. I mean, you signed your kid up for a sport that's kind of expensive to participate in, and they're kind of going out there and they're not really showing up. Is that frustrating? Can it be irritating? Well, yeah. But is anger really the place for this particular situation? You get to decide that. You're the one that decides it. Some people want to point fingers. Well, if they just hadn't done it, it's their fault I'm angry. It's not their fault. You're the one that decided to be angry about it. The person that pulled out in front of you in traffic. I mean, I get it. You're trying to get there, and it seems like when you're trying to get somewhere, maybe you're running a few minutes behind, which is not their fault. But it seems that we find those people that are going slow in traffic, right? And then we get frustrated, we get angry. If they just knew, but they don't know. You're the one that's deciding that. Someone breaks into your car and they steal something. Yeah. Well, it's okay to be angry about that because that's not fair. You had your doors locked, you had the alarm on, everything was supposed to be secure. Someone thinks they can just take something that's yours. Yeah, it's okay to be angry about it. But if it turns into yelling, hitting something or someone, or cussing out anybody within earshot, then you have allowed anger to control you. You get to see, I mean, when you make that decision, you get to see that their decisions and behavior does not determine your decision about your behavior. That's the bottom line of it. So you need to ask yourself, am I allowing them to decide my emotion? And if so, how do I take that back? Why is anger your go to? You might uncover something. Maybe it's just you've gotten in the habit that anger is where you're at. Maybe you're not giving yourself enough downtime, enough time to unwind. How do you change that? How do you shift that? But somebody else's lack of responsibility, somebody else's decision to do something that you don't agree with, that does not determine whether or not you lose your peace of mind, whether or not anger is going to be the name of the game for the day, for the week, for the month. And then we all know that adds up to years. So, and don't even talk about the effects it has on our body. We're walking around with more people with high blood pressure at younger ages than ever. High blood pressure, all the issues that come with that, all the heart issues, heart disease, all the things that come. These emotions aren't bad, but when left unchecked, they are detrimental. And this is definitely something the enemy can work on you with. He wants you to walk around angry and frustrated and feeling like the world is just set against you. But I'm going to tell you something, the world is not set against you. You are trying to set yourself against the world. That is why you're angry. So just check it. And remember, it's not usually that you're angry at them, it's something more. You are putting your expectations of your happiness on them. So thanks for tuning in. And by the way, if you are not on my mailing list yet, get on my mailing list because my email list, because what not only do I send out emails that are full of good things, good tips, just stuff. I mean that when you read it, it's good to know. I mean, for once, get something in your email that's positive, right? But also only my email subscribers get discounts, are going to get a discounted price on my upcoming group coaching program. I have a group coaching program that I am excited. I am so excited to talk about. Starts January 25th. It is a 4-week program to start out with. This is my first run of it. And this is something I've been working on ever since I knew I wanted to be a life coach because my life changed because of my own group coaching experience. My life coach, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, holds a group coaching program. And I signed up for it because I had no idea really what life coaching was about, but I had seen somebody else really kind of just come into themselves from the group coaching program. So I decided why not? Gave it a shot. It was a Christian group coaching program, or it is. It's not was, it is. And by week 4, by the 4th time, I logged on to a Zoom with Dr. Edie and all the incredible women that were in that program. I started to see a change in myself. And then let's fast forward. Fast forward, I really became alive and started to have a fire in my heart to help women find the same peace of mind, to understand what it means to take hold of their thoughts, to also go after those goals and dreams that we once thought were long gone. All the things I wanted to do that for other women. So now I get to. I'm a certified life coach, and now my first group coaching program is about to start. I am excited. I have women in there signed up, ready to go. I would love to see you in there. We meet Thursdays via Zoom. So you can meet on your computer, on your phone, wherever it might be at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you can't make the meetings, they are pre-record. They're going to be recorded, not pre-recorded, but they're going to be recorded for you to watch. And so that way you don't miss out on anything. But of course, if you can show up live and get coached, that's incredible. But let me tell you something, you also get coaching by watching other people get coached. And it's incredible. It's extremely powerful. For one, you get to hear what the coach has to say, what I'm going to say to them. But two, you also realize, oh my goodness, I am not the only person that is struggling with this or that has thought this. And it feels so good to know that. And it builds community. So if you're not in my group coaching program, you need to join January 25th. Join my program for 4 weeks. We're going to follow along with a Bible study that I wrote. I'm not reading the Bible study word for word. It's just simply a guide to help us as we go. And I would love to see you in there. But if you sign up and you're on my email list, you will have access to the discounted price. So if you're not on there, go to the link in my bio. You can find me on Instagram at Keri Irvin, Life Coach, KeriIrvin. You can find, just type in my name on Instagram, Life Coach. You'll see my picture. Go to the link, go to the link in my bio, sign up for my email list, and then there you are. So love to see you in there. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, friends.